Welcome to Rise Untold, where the stories behind the spotlight come alive. For years, Moe Howard of the Three Stooges was known for his slapstick comedy, his iconic bowl haircut, and the endless laughter he brought to millions. But after his passing in 1975, something was left behind, something hidden. And decades later, when the doors of his old Los Angeles garage were finally opened, no one expected what they would see inside. Dust covered the floor, cobwebs stretched across the ceiling, but the real shock was what was stacked in every corner. Boxes and crates that had gone untouched for years. Inside were original scripts of The Three Stooges, worn from time but still intact. Rare photos of Moe with his brothers, never released to the public, capturing private moments of a life spent on and off the stage. And then, the discovery that left even historians stunned. Film reels, long-lost recordings of routines and behind-the-scenes moments thought to have vanished forever. Hidden treasures of comedy's golden era, preserved in silence for decades, inside that modest garage. Among them were handwritten notes from Moe himself, jokes, sketches, even personal letters that showed a side of him the world had never seen. Collectors called it a time capsule. Fans called it a miracle. And historians called it one of the most important comedy discoveries of the century. That garage didn't just hold dusty memories, it held the legacy of a man who shaped laughter for generations. Inside Moe Howard's garage, the world found more than old papers and reels. At first glance, it might have looked like just another dusty storage space, boxes stacked unevenly, shelves bending under the weight of forgotten decades, the faint smell of old wood and time hanging in the air. But when they began opening those boxes, the truth revealed itself. This wasn't just clutter. This was a vault of laughter, history, and a man's unshakable legacy. Inside were stacks of handwritten notes, yellowed with age, ink slightly faded, but words still powerful. These were not just scribbles. They were the very blueprints of comedy, the seeds of routines that would go on to echo through generations. Moe's sharp wit was alive in every line, every margin where he'd quickly jotted down a punchline or adjusted a gag. Some pages even carried doodles, sketches of ideas that may never have made it to the stage, but showed the restless creativity of a man who was always chasing the next laugh. Alongside those papers were photographs, not glossy studio portraits, meant for publicity, but real, raw snapshots. Moe with his brothers, Larry and Curly, laughing in quiet moments away from the cameras. Family dinners where the smiles looked different, softer, more personal. Photos of birthdays, gatherings, and road trips that revealed a side of Moe the world had rarely seen. Not the stoic slapstick leader of the Three Stooges, but a husband, a father, a brother, simply living life. Each picture told its own silent story, capturing fleeting moments of joy that no script could ever replicate. Then came the discovery that stopped everyone in their tracks. Buried beneath layers of boxes almost forgotten were film reels, old, fragile, and labeled in Moe's handwriting. Some were rehearsals, some were rare behind-the-scenes glimpses, others were routines believed to have been lost forever. The reels were fragile, their film strip delicate, but once restored, they unveiled treasures that had the power to transport audiences back to the golden age of comedy. Imagine watching Moe and his brothers experimenting with jokes that never made it to screen, laughing at their own mistakes, breaking character in ways fans had never seen before. These reels were more than entertainment. They were windows into history, into the raw, unpolished process of legends at work. Historians were stunned. They called it one of the most important comedy discoveries of the century. Collectors couldn't believe their luck, finding such priceless artifacts in a simple garage, rather than a museum or studio archive. For fans, it was nothing short of a miracle. The world thought these moments were gone, but Moe had preserved them, whether by intention or by accident, in the quiet corners of his home. The garage itself began to feel less like a storage room, and more like a time capsule. Every box opened pulled back another layer of history. Original scripts marked with coffee stains, letters between Moe and studio executives, telegrams congratulating the troupe on their successes, fan mail kept neatly in bundles tied with string. Even props, small items used in sketches, were tucked away, waiting to be rediscovered. Each piece told the story of a man who dedicated his life to making others laugh, even when his own journey wasn't always easy. Moe Howard wasn't just a comedian. He was a visionary who saw the power of humor to heal, to connect, to outlast generations. And now, decades after his passing, his garage whispered his story once again. The discovery changed the way people thought about Moe. To the casual viewer, he was the tough, bossy stooge with the bowl haircut who always took charge. But inside that garage, among those private notes and forgotten reels, a softer, more complex figure emerged. A man who cared deeply about his craft. A man who worked tirelessly to perfect timing, rhythm, and delivery. A man who left behind not just laughter, but lessons about dedication, resilience, and legacy. Fans who had grown up watching Moe felt a new kind of closeness, as if they had stepped into his private world. Younger generations, who had only known the Three Stooges through reruns and clips, suddenly felt the weight of history. It wasn't just old comedy, it was a movement that had shaped entertainment forever. And perhaps the most haunting part of it all was the silence. For decades, that garage had held these treasures in absolute quiet. Dust had gathered, years had passed, and yet the legacy waited patiently, untouched, undisturbed, until the right moment came for the world to see it again. Inside Moe Howard's garage, the world found more than old papers and reels. They found proof that legends never really fade, that even when time moves on and memories grow dim, the essence of greatness lingers. Moe's laughter had never truly been lost. It had only been waiting. This discovery became more than just a headline. It became a reminder that history often hides in plain sight, that greatness isn't always locked in museums or archives. It can live in garages, attics, and basements, preserved by chance and memory. It became proof that even in the quietest corners, history waits to be discovered, ready to breathe life into the present. For some, it was about the comedy. For others, it was about nostalgia. But for everyone, it was about legacy. Moe Howard's garage showed the world that legacies don't just belong to the past. They continue to live, to inspire, to surprise us when we least expect it. And perhaps that is the most powerful truth of all. If they could unlock those doors and uncover a treasure hidden for decades, what does that say about our own lives? How many of us are carrying treasures, memories, talents, dreams, locked away in our own version of a forgotten garage, waiting for the right moment to be brought into the light? Maybe it's an old passion we abandoned when life became too heavy. Maybe it's a dream we once believed in but let slip away because the world told us it wasn't possible. Or maybe it's a memory, a piece of who we once were, that we've buried so deep we've convinced ourselves it's gone. But just like those reels and papers, it isn't gone. It's waiting. Moe's Garage teaches us something bigger than comedy. It reminds us that what we leave behind, what we think is forgotten, still carries power. It can still shape the future. His hidden notes and reels became a gift to the world, decades later, long after he was gone. And that should make us wonder, what gifts are we carrying within ourselves that the world has yet to see? Maybe your story, too, still holds something waiting to be found, something tucked away, silent but alive, waiting for the right hands, the right time, the right courage to unlock it. And when it is finally uncovered, it may not just change your life, it may ripple outward, inspiring others, just as Moe's discovery did, because legends never really disappear. They don't vanish with time. They wait. They endure. And when the world is finally ready, they rise again, proving that some things are too powerful to ever be lost.